The transfer window is in full flow. We are in January the 3rd to be precise, which means that transfers are coming out. There's a lot of speculation, rumours, solid transfers that have gone through, things that might happen, transfers that could happen, a lot to discuss. And today's video is going to be different. I'm just going to be doing a bit of a live run through of the Sky transfer centre. It's very unedited, this, so there is going to be a lot of me stumbling my words here. But yeah, I'm going to go through, I'm going to look at the big news stories of the day, sort of break down some of the ones that I find the most interesting. There's a lot on here that I'm not going to have seen. There's ones that I have seen, like Jadon Sancho. We'll get onto that in a moment. But I want to start with Calvin Phillips. Calvin Phillips is a player who I think will move this window. He's not going to hold out to the summer. City don't need to hold out till summer, really. You could say they need the depth because they're still competing in three competitions even. But Phillips doesn't play, so it's not really depth. They could fetch a lot of money from Phillips and invest it elsewhere in the squad, and that's what I think they'll do. And it's a testament to the ability of Calvin Phillips that even though he's not playing regularly for City or just at all even, that he can still dominate the headlines in some aspects. You mentioned Calvin Phillips and everyone goes, oh, where will he go? That doesn't happen with players who are on the bench not playing for a team. And Newcastle interested apparently, Juve, they're big clubs to go to. I think he'd be fantastic at, say, a Newcastle. I think he'd be fantastic at maybe, say, an Aston Villa, an Everton, something like that, Crystal Palace, a mid-table to high up team in the Premier League. Yeah, Philip, there's still talent there, and I think City could do well with cashing in on the midfielder. I see it happening this window. Bayern have made a Tomori inquiry for Kayo Tomori. We'll remember him. He was the Chelsea player, went on loan to Derby and did absolutely fantastic. And then he went back to Chelsea, started playing really, really well, and then they sold him. And that seems to be the pattern in Chelsea's recent seasons. Tomori is a symbol of everything that's wrong with Chelsea's strategy, just like Tammy Abraham is, was even, just like Mason Mount, it could be. Fikayo Tomori is one of those players who's gone off and became a world beater at AC Milan. He's arguably England's most underrated centre-back in some aspects, or at least I think he is. According to this, Christoph Freund, the Bayern sporting director, is a big fan who is injured at the moment, which is a shame. A move is apparently currently unlikely as Milan do not want to sell, but is not ruled out that Bayern make an approach in January. I mean, yeah, if they do that, I want to know what happened to Upamecano or Delat in that position, because they're two good centre backs, and if they just want depth or they're playing this three at the back system and they need another centre back to go alongside them, I mean, that's a good signing to make, and it depends on the fee. There's no fee sort of reported here, but Fikayo Tomori is one of the most underappreciated centre backs in the league in terms of talent, and this could be a signing that really makes him. At Bayern Munich, you're going to win titles, you're going to compete for Champions League. Yes, they've been up and down this season, but if they want defensive stability, I don't think there's many better, to be honest. We're going to move past this. There's a lot that I'm just not going to even pretend to be qualified to talk about. Bristol City have signed St. Pat's athletic midfielder Adam Murphy. I'm not even going to pretend with this. This is one that I saw before, which I think is really interesting. Sheffield United looking to sign goalkeeper this month, and Anderlecht's Kasper Schmeichel is one of a number of options they're considering. I didn't even know Schmeichel was at Anderlecht. I still thought he was at Nice. I won't lie to you. So, it says about how in the loop I am. The former Leicester goalkeeper signed for the Belgian club in September on a one-year contract, which includes the option for a further year. Now, Schmeichel left Leicester far too soon. He was still a fantastic keeper when he left. And he said himself, he'd love to come back. Sheffield United potentially signing Brereton Diaz, who was the Blackburn goal scorer, who was unbelievable there. He's since moved to Villarreal. They want to loan him to Sheffield. They're trying to sign Kasper Schmeichel. They're big signings. And Schmeichel offers you a lot of stability in between the sticks. He offers you a lot of presence and leadership at the back, which Sheffield will lack him before during Paul Heckingbottom's time. Chris Wilder's come in and they look a bit more stable. Having Schmeichel there who can control the game, or maybe even just be a backup and be a presence in the dressing room is a big thing because Fotheringham has been really good. I think he's made the most saves in the Premier League. He looked good when Liverpool played him, and it'd be a shame for him to be dropped. Schmeichel just coming to the club, a Premier League winner who's been in the Euros, who's been in the World Cup. That's a good signing for Sheffield. And if it's a free transfer or a loan or however they want to swing it, there's no loss with that. And 37, Schmeichel does not look 37. Let's be honest in the way he plays. This is the big one. Jadon Sancho talks have been progressing positively between Manchester United and Dortmund. Now, I think when Sancho, this whole saga started with Ten Hag, everyone had this opinion that, Sancho was going to go back to Dortmund. Sancho, is he going to stick around and just outlast the manager because of the performances? And arguably, you could say he's still doing that. There were people saying he just wants out of the club. He's going to get sold in January. Apparently, this one is a loan fee. So talks are centred on a loan fee and salary, with Sky in Germany reporting that a package worth £3 million is under discussion, with a willingness from all parties to get the deal done. Now, Jadon Sancho is a perfect example of the grass is not always greener. Man City wasn't getting the chance. He went to Dortmund. He was a phenomenon. And I wanted him at Liverpool. I still would, if I'm being honest, in some ways. I think there's a player there, a fantastic player, but he's gone to a United side, which no direction from the board, a poor stadium that's fallen apart, poor training facilities, toxic atmosphere with players coming in and going out. Ronaldo, Varane, all these different players who are having a horrible time at the club and have either left or are on the verge of leaving. Sancho's gone in, expected to beat the world. It's not happened, and understandably so. Him going back to Dortmund would be a big, big statement, and he needs to find that form again. Alone confuses me because I don't know if it's United are pricing Dortmund out of the permanent sale, or if Dortmund maybe just want to test the waters, see if Sancho's still got that desire, that ability to play to the level that he used to play while at Dortmund. If he goes to Dortmund and performs poorly, doesn't work, and isn't willing to put the effort in, this could be his career done so early. He needs to go there and perform and show up when it's needed. And if he doesn't, I fear for his future. Sancho, he's doing the right thing by leaving on loan, definitely, because there's every possibility that he could outlast Ten Hag by doing this. He comes back in the summer, it could be a different manager, a manager who wants to work with him, who wants to use him in his plans. Going to Dortmund, he just needs to get his head down. He needs to work and really show that Ten Hag is the issue at United, not him. And if it's the other way around, this will expose it. So it's a big, big test. He's not played since United's 3-2 win over Nottingham Forest on August. It was the Arsenal game where afterwards Ten Hag said, he's just not training well, and all that whole calamity happened. United were apparently interested in Timo Werner. Timo Werner is one of those players who I just don't think suited for the Premier League. Liverpool didn't get him. He went to Chelsea, and it worked out best, I think, for us. Bayern Munich, Eric Choupo-Moting is another player they've been linked with to go for the ex-Stoke. Don't get me wrong, Choupo-Moting is one of those players who he seems to score when it matters. He's a bit of a Divock Origi in that sort of sense, and yes, it's a Liverpool link, but come on. He'll score when it matters. It's a big game player, so to speak, and his goal record actually for Bayern is not bad, and he's been to some of the biggest teams, PSG and Bayern. But that transfer reeks of Odion Ighalo or Wout Weghorst. Just It's, it's one of those transfers. It doesn't make sense. It's not even a name. It's one of those players that's out of nowhere. Stick them up front. It's a short term solution. Uh, Fulham making some business. Fulham need to go big in this transfer window. Anders Townsend signed a new long term contract at Luton. That's a big one, actually. I mean, they've not revealed the length of the contract given to the 32-year-old who originally joined on a short-term deal. He's been good since arriving. Obviously, I'm delighted. 3 months ago, I thought my career was over. So from going to begging around the world just for a trial to being offered a longer contract is a dream come true. Maybe that sort of plays into it. Maybe it's Luton are thinking, look, he's not going to go elsewhere. He's going to accept his contract. He's done well, I think, Andros Townsend at Luton. And if he can keep them up, he'll be part of a legendary team. Everyone expects Luton to go down. They could stay up, realistically. Man City and River Plate signing contracts for Echeverry deal. It's going to be like another Alvarez, isn't it? 14 million euro net fixed fee, 9 million related. It's not a player I know about. City tends to sign these players under the radar. Like River Plate tend to do good business with City, or Argentinian sides at least. This could be another one that's just a really out there transfer that no one sort of expects. And he comes in and does a fantastic job. So we'll have to see what goes on there. City as well, they're another team that in this window, I think they're going to really try and bolster. I think they need to. Manchester United goalkeeper Onana to face Spurs before joining up with Cameroon AFCON. I mean, that's confusing considering Salah has to go now, but Onana can stay. The party came to an amicable agreement that will allow the 27-year-old to play in United's FA Cup third round. I mean, sure, but maybe that's something the clubs just have to agree upon. I think Onana, I don't know why United are so keen to keep him for that game. If anything, it'll probably go the opposite direction. But yeah, if Onana can do that, why can't Salah do that? Maybe it's personal preference. Maybe Onana wants to. Maybe Salah didn't. But yeah. Arsenal prioritising a move for a left back. They definitely need a left back. I did a Twitter space with MJ yesterday, and he was discussing the left back situation. Zinchenko's not the player who they thought he was going to be. Timber's injured. There's a lot of there's no set player in that position. They definitely do need one. And there's a lot of names there being linked. They're also linked with wingers. They're linked with Ivan Toney. Arsenal, this January window could make or break their season. They could go out and sign Ivan Toney, and he could be a player that propels them to the league. They could sign no one and suffer one more big injury, say to a Saliba or an Odegaard or a Saka, and then their season could be over. So they really need to go into this window. There's reports that FFP are playing a role is playing a role, should I say, in the situation. They need to go out and make some sort of movement in the transfer window because they've still got a lot of areas on the pitch which need addressing. I still think number 6, yes, Declan Rice is fantastic, but beyond him, Jorginho is not a good enough player for that position. Thomas Partey is rumoured to be linked to be leaving the club. Left back is still a poor position. Right back, Tomiyasu's just gone to the Asia Games, so their only real one's Ben White, and he's not an out-and-out right back, so yeah, there's a lot they need to address, I think, in the summer, and strikers just a whole of a world to discuss with Arsenal. Is Real Madrid in Mbappe's future? Yeah, 100%. I think Real Madrid is just the natural next destination for Mbappe. And I'm going to do another video, an entirely separate video on this, I think, because Mbappe is destined for Madrid, but in the same breath, the saga's gone on for so long that it's starting to become less likely. It will still happen. I think no matter how low it gets, it will still eventually happen. But it's gone on now for what, 4 years, 3, 4, maybe 5 years. So yeah, it really does need to. It needs to be done. He's got 6 months left on his contract. He's not going to sign with PSG. He will be gone. He will either agree a deal this window for a fee to leave, which I think PSG are probably in their best interest to do because they could sign anyone they wanted with the money they get. Or he's going to go for free in summer, and it would be one of the biggest contract mismanagements of a player. We saw, if you've seen for Arsenal over the years, Ozil went for free. Alexis Sanchez, went for cheap, and it doesn't work. Players in the final year or two of their contracts is not something that works out. Different kettle of fish, Mbappe and Ozil, and the stature of where they are at the time of leaving the club. But yeah, PSG needs to cash in while they can. Holgate staying at Saints. Mason Holgate is not expected to be recalled from his loan spell at Southampton. Everton, we've recalled a few players. I think Everton do need defenders. So could Liverpool sign Mbappe? No, we could not, and we will not. This rumour just needs to die. I'm sorry. No plans to allow Ramsdale to leave this window, say Arsenal. They have no plans of doing it. Yeah, but Ramsdale, I think it's because Raya's on loan. And they're playing a risky game because they say they get into the summer. I know they've got, I don't know if it's an option or an obligation to buy Raya, but say it's the first one, say it's the latter. Say Raya goes back to Brentford, and then you lose Ramsdale because he's lost faith in the club and the club's lost faith in him. You're then left in a situation where there's no mainstay keeper. You've gone from having one of the best keepers in the league in Ramsdale to ostracising him by bringing in Raya, and then suddenly you end up with nothing. And it's like it's likely to be a quiet window as far as incomings are concerned, given FFP restrictions, and they may have to look at the loan market if they want to recruit. Yeah, but the thing, it's strange because Arsenal, although thinking on it, I was going to say, I don't think they've spent too much in terms of the FFP side of things. But then again, Rice was 100 million, Havertz was around 70 million. I suppose they have spent this window. So, yeah, maybe I'm wrong on there. Maybe I'm off base. We're going to go through a few more and then we're going to call this up. Any outgoings at Everton? I don't see many major ones. Onana's discussed to be going to United at some point. That'd be a big one. Bournemouth defender Kelly targeted by Juventus and AC Milan. Now, I think AC Milan will depend on the Tomori situation that we discussed earlier. Tottenham were interested in signing him in the summer. Lloyd Kelly is not a bad defender, but is he really, 25 years old? He's at Bournemouth. Is he really big enough for a club like Juventus and AC Milan? The days of Nesta and Maldini and Juventus and there's Bonucci and Chiellini and Lloyd Kelly. It's I know the days are gone, but I just don't really see what the big appeal is. Maybe I'm just not seeing something that a lot of people are. I remember I did the stream on the transfer room a few months ago now, and I mentioned Lloyd Kelly, and people just sort of scoffed and were just like, "What? Why? Why would we want him?" And if that's the case, then yeah, maybe. Dyche not expecting a busy January, absolutely. Chelsea recall Santos from Forest loan. That could have big implications, to be fair. Is he going to play for Chelsea? Possibly. They've got a big squad though, so they've got a lot of players to rotate. Xavi, we can't afford the likes of Haaland and Mbappe, absolutely. If Mbappe, even on a free transfer, is still going to cost you a fortune in wages and bonuses. So yeah, Haaland and Mbappe, we can't think of them to join. We cannot afford these players. I'm happy with the players I have. We need to reach our best at this level. Barca are currently in a situation where they possibly overachieved last season. They've got great players in that team, but this, I think, is their last hurrah with a lot of them. I don't see De Jong staying there beyond the season. There's a chance a club comes in for Pedri. I know he signed a contract, but it could still happen. Ansu Fati's already gone out on loan, so there's a chance he goes. Lewandowski, is he going to stay at the club beyond this season? Ferran Torres and Dembele, not Dembele, sorry, Ferran Torres. There's every chance he moves on. So yeah, they need to figure out money fast, and by selling the club and all these other aspects and parts of it, it's not helping anyone. Right, we'll do one or two more, I think. Flat Street is attracting loan interest. Nothing. Nothing major. I think at this point, this is earlier on. This is like 1 p.m. This is where we get to all the sort of rumour mill kind of stuff. Nothing with any sort of real solidity. The main one was the Sancho deal, which is still in discussions. Varane, United are not extending his contract, which I suppose we're going to just cover more and more. And Real Madrid is the most likely destination. Of course, it is because they can afford him. Liverpool, and this is something I'm going to discuss in a different video, cannot afford Mbappe, and it doesn't make sense to break our wage structure even more than we did by signing Salah on the contract. If we sell Salah for £200 million, people will say, get Mbappe, we can afford him now. I don't want Mbappe with that money. I want to do like what we did with Coutinho. I want to invest the money in other areas of the pitch that need improving. The number 6 role, the centre-back role, the left-back role, arguably. It's signing Mbappe, a player with character issues, personality conflict issues with managers and owners and players and staff. Someone who would demand astronomical wages, surrounded by a team of players who have earned the right to get the money they're on, does not make sense. And for me, I would not want Mbappe. I will cover this in a different video. But yeah, this was just a quick sort of roundup just to go through some of the big stories of the day. We are going to call it a day on that one. I think I want to do this more often, maybe in a different format or something. Just let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And please make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons. And I will see you in the next video.